This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Welcome to our weekly session for reflection, analysis of what's going on in our lives in Philippine society. It's been 30 years of no progress, going around in circles. Matuto tayo suri linggo-linggo at magmuni-muni at pag-isipan kung ano talaga ang tamang direction po natin. And so we will now reflect again the past week's events. And the first segment is the continuing issue of crime and punishment in our society. All these talks about EJK, criticisms of the present administration, of the PNP. What is the score at this time? What do I think? What do my guests think we should do? And second part will be this hearing on the fake news with a lot of fake senators in a country with a fake electoral system and fake Smartmatic electoral solutions. So we have invited a columnist from Manila Times who has been an old reliable when it comes to writing about the facts and the truth in our society and ideologically. He was once a member of the Communist Party, an active member and supporter of the NPA, but he has made a turnaround on all these issues at age 76 today. He must have learned some things through those many decades. This is Mauro Samonte, and could we flash Mauro over there? He asked me if his attire is okay. Well, I said a poor man philosopher should be dressed like that. So mamaya, maririnig po natin si Ginoong Mau Samonte sa kanyang mga natutuhan na sa buong buhay niya na i-apply naman dito sa kasalukuyang mga suliranin natin. And baka makakita tayo ng mga solution dyan. Of course, our old regular in issues of foreign policy, domestic issues, Ado Paglinawan, who now has a radio program every morning, Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Sa tiyaga niya po na gumising ng ganyan, magtiyaga din tayo na bigyan ng oras na makinig po. Kasama rin ako doon. And so I also have to wake up very often at 4 o'clock, drive all the way to Quezon City in the darkness of early morning to discuss these national issues. Ang unang pag-usapan natin ay crime and punishment nga. And it immediately evoked discussion among these old folks who were required during high school and early college days siguro to read Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment. And so dito sa lipunan natin, yan ang issue natin. Later on, we'll see that despite all the criticisms against President Duterte and the PNP, crime rate has been going down. Despite all the criticisms against the administration, in the end, the victims of crime still have to rely on President Duterte, the government institutions like the Public Attorney's Office, and the PNP to help solve their plaints against society in general. So I'm going to flash first this post of Ado Paglinawan on Facebook, which raised some controversy. Let's take a look at that post, and we'll ask Ado to explain that. Ado, you recall this post?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
So this is about Kian, about the hazing victim. Anong pangalan nun?
Castillo.
And in the end, after all the storm against Duterte and the PNP, whom do they turn to? Ghostbusters. So let's go to Ado to explain this this post.
I entitled that, to whom do they go to for ghost busting at the end of the day. It only explains that the credibility of this president is still very high, and the institution that he represents is still, the trust level is still very high.
Pwede tayo mag-Tagalog o Taglish.
Okay,
Baka
pwede.
sobrang mataas.
Sige. Ang akin po dito ay matapos ng mga batikos ng mga dilawan, mga pulahan at iba pa, ay pumapangibabaw pa rin na walang pupuntahan kundi pabalik doon sa institusyon, na ang ating institusyon, no matter how criticized and pilloried it is, into personalities. Nandun lang naman ang problema sa mga personalities. Yung parang institusyon will be tested by the people, at kung ito ay tumatakbo, kung ito ay umaandar ng tama, katulad ng Public Attorney's Office, ay doon pa rin sila dudulog. Actually, I have been batting for the Public Attorney's Office. Frankly, I only met Persida Acosta last Monday for the first time in my life, but I felt noong magkaroon ng debate sa Commission on Human Rights, and Congress, binibigyan lamang sila ng 1,000 budget, ang proposal ko noon...
Ang PAO ba naging target ng 1 peso a year?
No, yung CHR.
Yung CHR.
Oh, yung CHR. Pero ang suggestion ko, yung part of the budget ng CHR, kung hindi mapupunta sa kanila, ay ilipat sa Public Attorney's Office.
My view is that you really fold up the CHR and give all the money to the Public Attorney's Office, dahil yun talaga may magagawa.
Hindi naman all the money. Sabi ko lang, some of the money, kasi gusto ni Presidente Duterte yata i-realign yun for the scholarships of poor people.
Scholarships, although he also said that maybe it should go into the body cameras for the police,
yung mga body cameras para monitor ang mga operations ng police, especially with regards to the drug war.
Yeah, we'll go back to that, Ado, your post and the details there with the PAO. Let's listen to Mauro Gia Samonte on his experience the past months, actual experience in Antipolo, or Masinag ba? Sumulong Highway. Go ahead, Mau.
Anyway, before that, I'd like to add something to what Ado said about these things. After all the criticism against Duterte for this so-called extrajudicial killings, people still turn to him. I had this attitude towards Duterte before the elections. I already wrote an article titled "Between Idi Amin and Duterte, What's the Difference?" Because I based that on his admission in the media that he killed about 177 people. So with that admission, I already extrapolated him to be in the likes of Idi Amin. But that's for the purposes of the election campaign, of course, you know that. Then comes these actual killings during his administration. Without me having any more evidence from his mouth about him doing all these killings, I refrained from attributing this to him this time. Now, all the while, my attitude towards this killing is that I get this from an observer's viewpoint. No? Now, beginning October, that was, I guess that was October 2, there was a swap between the police forces of Antipolo and Dasmariñas, Cavite. And then on the day of the swap, killings, I would not call them yet extrajudicial killing, but killings began. A ballot vendor was killed, and then why did I say I'm in the eye of it? If this were
the storm, that's what
if this were some, I am in the eye of it, because right in my midst, several killings happened, one after another, night after night, day after day, in the intersection between Sumulong Highway and this road we now call Olalia Road.
Olalia Road.
That's where the labor leader
That's
Olalia
right,
was
Olalia,
dumped.
yes.
That was the only air of death that stalked the place until these killings began now.
So this is the Dasmariñas police that took over from the
Yeah.
old Antipolo police.
There was a swap, complete swap of my police forces.
Job posting yan.
Bakit
The
kaya,
Antipolo
no?
forces were transferred to Dasmariñas and the Dasmariñas forces were transferred to
So
Antipolo
aside
City.
from the balut vendor, what other kinds of characters were sacrificed?
Well, there were, from eyewitnesses, they were actually drug dependents or drug pushers
okay,
that have been marked earlier based on a certain intel report. But then what I'm trying to say is that Antipolo, until that time, remained as this romance city, the city of Rizal's Naulimitangere,
the city of Hinulukang Taktak,
idyllic city.
the city of the Flores de Mayo ba? Doon
Yeah,
nagkaano,
city of the pilgrimage of the Our Lady of
But
Peace.
of course,
and
the past decade, this has become the latest urbanized area in the metropolis.
Yeah, it's now a
Population
city.
growth,
It's
the
not-
malls are being put up, and anyway.
But anyway, until that time, Antipolo remained that way, an idyllic, romantic city. And then came this swap of police forces, killings began.
But
night
hindi
after
ba
night.
may reputasyon din ng Antipolo as dumping ground for murders from outside and then doon
That
hinuhulog?
was only the Olalia case. But of course,
wala
it was
din ang-
bloated in the media.
okay, oo.
And in other words, what I'm saying, in my vicinity, that was the only air of death.
So you're talking about October last year or this year?
This year.
Only
This
this year.
year. This
Okay.
year.
Few days ago.
That was Monday.
Uh-huh.
Then the following day, right in the corner, fronting my compound,
Uh-huh.
somebody fell.
Uh-huh.
Then the next,
Right in front of you or near your compound?
my compound is right along Sumulong Highway.
yeah.
Now there is this intersection between at the
Yeah.
corner of
You saw the
Sumulong
body
Highway.
yourself?
Yeah.
Or you heard about it? You saw
I'm talking about it myself.
you saw it.
I heard the gunshots.
You heard the gunshots.
And then when I came out into the street, I saw this guy falling on the sidewalk. You know, when you encounter experiences like this, you sort of hold back on your bravado. What you may call this. I'm no longer as young as when I was in the first quarter storm. I'm 76 now.
Yes.
I would not have the energy to put up with the vigilante. You see. But at any rate, after the night came the following day, there was another killing. From my eyewitness account, I got one block away from him, from my place. And then another block away, there was another killing. All over Antipolo now. The sad thing about this is nothing is being reported. I was trying to get in touch with the officials of the city, trying to get their comments on this.
So you wrote about this already in your column?
Yeah, I've written about this last weekend, Saturdays and Sundays last
I would
weekend.
like to
Okay, let's go to
I'd like
Ado.
to surmise on
Yeah.
this situation that immediately after a job posting of policemen was done, ay nagkaroon itong mga tumbahan na ito, no? Ito yung sinasabi ko na a major part of ng ating lipunan is still in denial of the reality that there is really a drug menace out there. And I am addressing this really in general terms to families, no? Kasi ang mga sintomas ng drug addiction, lalo-lalo na sa meth, sa shabu, ay very evident yan sa loob ng pamilya. And a lot of people in community just stay in their comfort zones, trying to, in denial that things will go better until they themselves experience such a disturbance. Kung hindi napaltan ng pulis dyan, yung comfort zone nila hindi mayuyugyog. Ang akin lang dyan para bang nagkaroon na ng familiarity yung mga personalities dyan. Hindi nila ma-achieve kung ano man ang dapat nilang gawin.
All the old Antipolo police was part of the problem there. That's why there was a reassignment.
Kaya nga, walang
I'm not making any conclusions yet, but I'm judging from the circumstances that the killings began. The mass killings began, the untrammeled killings began when there was a swap of police force there. Now, what does that indicate?
Timing is very...
What does that indicate? It indicates, well, a hand of the police in all these killings. It's just that during the previous time, the Antipolo police could not do those killings, probably, for whatever reason, I still don't know, I cannot say. But the minute there was a change of police forces in an area, there was this killing.
Well,
so
I also...
That's right, the old police force was part of the problem. They were not moving anything.
I also see historical roots to that problem, that for many years that has been going on. But that's understood by the police authorities now, and so they did something. You could call that informally EJK if you really believe it's the police who did it. But it's a problem that needed a solution. Now, for me, the solution also is assistance to those who are victims, meaning of drugs, and those who are appealing for legal support on either side of the fence. And this is where the public attorney's office...
there is a phenomenon involved here, Mentong. And this is a clarification that the President did last night. That the kinds of drugs that are in our society ay itong shabu. And shabu is meth, and meth is chemical. Why is it being peddled in our streets? Because it is cheap. Yung sa US, medyo nag-ecstasy sila dyan, nagko-cocaine sila dyan, and some other thing, maybe heroin. Mahal yun masyado. Hindi yun ang minamarket dito. At most of this pala are being just imported also illegally. They're being manufactured in seas from Taiwan, for instance, papunta rito, manufacture sa mga barko, ihuhulog sa dagat, lalagyan ng GPS para malocate at ibabagsak dito.
But,
kaya mahihirap ang involved doon sa operation.
It's a very complex problem. We also have to try to simplify the whole picture so that we can zero in on solutions. And I'm zeroing on the solution of supporting the public attorney's office. Because then cases can really be filed if there are police involvement, and in the case of we have the image there of Kian PAO chief discussing this Kian slay and saying that Acosta saying that Kian sustained treacherous wound and family to sue the cops for murder. In other words, this is a solution. Instead of going to the CHR in the past and hearing only all these complaints against the police and so on, here we have real action by the public attorney's office. I think that's something important. Now, I think it is also very clear that action is being taken in a shortcut manner to excise the cancer. That is why we see such actions as yung tinutumba, ika nga, yung mga what you also hear are drug suspects, pushers, etc.
I'd like to add one more thing about this involvement of the police. There's lately this report about certain contrite police, allegedly those who have committed killings, already in the custody of priests who are willing to talk. And I hope this, I think this is a challenge to the president. If he's really serious in trying to get to the bottom of these so-called extrajudicial killings, talk to the priest. Get hold of these policemen who are supposed to be contrite and are willing to talk now.
Well, so far we have one that recounted his story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so far we have one. But yes.
Medyo complicated yung kaso na yan.
Yeah.
Oo, medyo complicated yan. Kasi ang sinabi lang doon sa release, in-identified lang ni Bato na such a case, for instance, of Tacorda, no? And a warning was given because the case of Tacorda is very complicated. Nagsimula yan, hindi kay Tacorda na basta nag-resign. Nagsimula yan sa pagka-discover ng isang Shabu laboratory sa Biraca, Tanduanes, sa Barangay Small. And nung ma-discover yan, ang isang local journalist naglabas ng column identifying Governor Cua as the alleged mastermind. And siya nag-utos kay Tacorda.
So this Tacorda has a record.
May record. Kay Tacorda.
EJK, if you want to call it.
Tapos may isa pa, tapos dalawa pang involved. So, nag-resign siya. And after mag-resign siya, sinabi niya na yung conscience niya, gano'n-gano'n. Pagka-resign niya, pinailan siya ng demanda nung widow ni Larry K., yung journalist na napatay.
The first victim.
So, May 5 yon. So, nung pailan siya ng kaso, May 10, nagpunta siya kay Trillanes at saka kinunan siya ng affidavit at saka video.
To make the long story short, he later recanted.
Si Tacorda. But I don't think that's what I'm trying to drive at. There are others policemen who are in the custody of priests.
Yeah, so all this should be investigated. Although there's a principle there where I feel strongly about that other institutions like the church trying to compete with the state when we should be supporting the state to strengthen it, so that they can act on these things. But we'll take a break and we'll try to overflow to the next segment because I've been signaled since 5 minutes ago. But we'll pursue that and then we go to the fake news investigations. Okay, let's take this break.